Hello everyone and welcome to the Card of the Month Kit February tutorial for Papercrafting Australia. You may notice that I haven't put my front camera on tonight, and that is because my studio space looks like an absolute bomb has hit it. I've got a new cabinet that I'm trying to fit in, which holds a whole lot of paper and cardstock. And at the moment that is causing a few problems space-wise. But welcome to the tutorial. We will be going through and making two Valentines, or pink and red kind of cards today. You don't have to use them for Valentine's Day. You can use them for any occasion. You can change up the colors if you've got some extra cardstock, but I'll show you a couple of projects that I'm going to be doing today. So if you're joining us for the first time on Facebook Live or on YouTube, welcome, and I hope you get a fair bit out of this tutorial. The YouTube video will be available for you to watch later, so if you've missed the start of it and you come in at some point, you can always go back or press pause and catch up. But I can see on YouTube we've also got Tony and Sharon chatting away there. Hello ladies. Sharon's been in the garden today. Tony, I hope you've had a great day as well. Mine's been busy, but yeah, we'll get started just because I think we've probably got a few people that have joined at the moment. It looks like a couple in the YouTube. So yeah, let's get started. Nearly pushed the wrong button and stopped the whole stream, so that would have been good. So tonight, everyone, we feel free to jump into the chats and ask any questions as we go along. Hopefully the others in the chats will be able to answer the question. Otherwise, I will check back in every couple of minutes in between sections of the card making, just so that I can answer your questions if you've got any. So let's get down to it. So today I've got two cards that we're going to make. So I'll start with this one because this is the one we're going to make second. And this one is using a bit of a technique that I have called the quilting technique. So this is just a scoring and folding technique that I didn't really see anything like it, but it was a bit of an option that came to me while I was prepping this card kit, and I thought that would be really lovely. And we've got this nice glittery cardstock to use to do that. So we'll move on to that one in just a bit. But the first card that we'll work on tonight is this one. So this is, again, just a lot more of a layering technique and just to show a bit of a layout for you. So these are the A2 size Gina K cardstock cards. And it works perfectly because it's essentially half of an 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock sheet. So whether you buy the pre-made cards or whether you buy the cardstock and chop it in half, it works just the same. So this is a cute little card. It's just, lots of layers. It's quite thick once you look at it sort of side on. And I've also popped inside just a white panel so that you can write a nice greeting, because not everybody has a white gel pen or something like that you can use to write on the card. So we're going to play around tonight with a bunch of the Kaisercraft weave cardstock. So that came in your kits for Card of the Month. We've got the Gina K. This is Passionate Pink is the cardstock colour, and the envelopes, which are also Gina K designs, they are in bubblegum pink. So they're the two Gina K products. We've also got some smooth black and smooth white cardstock. This is Couture Creations cardstock, and all of these are available on our website, on our store at papercraftingaustralia.com. I'm just going to point out, yes, I have already had a boo-boo with one of my other craft classes, and I've totally messed up my work surface. So I've got another one on the way. This was the uncoated one. So I've got a coated version coming. So hopefully I'll be able to wipe stuff like that off in future. So the black and white smooth cardstock. We've got the Papercrafting Australia Layers of Love patterned papers. So these are the A6 size. So they are just, if I pop this against the card, they're just the right size for the A2 cards if you wanted to cover the entire front. So perfect if you want to trim it down and use some papers as the background. So we're going to use one sheet of that today. I've got a bit of ribbon. I've already cut these up, but I've got the sentiment strips, that have come. That's the Papercrafting Australia ones. We've got the little bits of white and silver twine, which you can use at your leisure. I often will make a little bit of bow and pop that on, so I might try and incorporate one into my card today. We've also got the greeting blocks that have come in with your kit. So the I Love You one is new for February, as well as this one, which is the heart with the love arrow embossed across the top. So that one I've already used, so I'm not going to use that one again, but I'll replace this one with this one when we do that card. And I've also got the little love hearts that came in your kits, so they were already pre-cut. If you haven't bought the Card of the Month kit, but you're watching the tutorial, ugh, what a word. Anyway, you can, use a die or other device if you might have a heart-shaped punch or something, just to make some small hearts. So I'm just going to clear off a few little bits and pieces, move some things off to the side, so that I have some space to work. You're also going to need, if you have them, now you don't have to do the extra dimension on these, but I've just got some foam dots. You could also use foam tape and just cut some small pieces up, just to be able to pop up these little love hearts, just to give a little bit of dimension there. So they weren't in your kits this month, but it should be some kind of consumables that you might have in your craft stash at home. Okay. Moving things around on my workspace. That's for the next one. All right, let's get into it. So first you're going to want to select, let's pop that up there so we've got a reference point, some colours or some pattern paper that you want to coordinate with your Gina K Designs Passionate Pink cardstock. So in the kits we had 6 different colours, 6 or 7 different colours of cardstock. Some I've already used, so they were all they were a bit bigger than that. So the colours that came in that kit, you can use one, you can use all, you can use 2 or 3 and not use them all up. In the last one, you'll see that I used 4 different colours in this one. So I used the same colours for the hearts as I did for the base blocks. And I have just popped them into a diagonal pattern so that, I've got a bit of a repetitive pattern. The card that I'm going to do next, I'm actually going to do in portrait mode. So it will still be the same. Obviously, the hearts will turn sideways and we'll just do 3 across and 4 down. But you can do either way. I just want to show you, a couple of options. So you'll have your black border or mat, which is the perfect size, already cut down for you to fit onto your card. And you'll have your white greeting block that you can pop on the inside. So that's where those bits will go. What we're going to choose next is what we are going to use as our background patterned paper that we've popped underneath on here. So from the Layers of Love patterned paper, take my little cover sheet off there. I'm just going to choose from this. I think I'm going to go with this one for my card tonight. It does match in well. Some of the colours don't go so well, and they will work better with, other things. You might want to swap out the, you might have a different card and want to do it on a white card, for example, and use some red cardstock and pop the candy stripes on there. Totally up to you what you want to do, but this kit will kind of, give you some extras to work with afterwards as well. So you'll have plenty of leftovers to use in other craft projects. So with your patterned paper, you can do this with a trimmer or you can do it with a Stanley knife and a ruler on a cutting mat, but that's up to you. So we're going to cut this patterned paper down just by taking a small amount off each one end and on the side. So we're going to cut that down to 5 inches in length and 3 3/4 in width. So my 3 is here, 3/4. So you can see that by taking a bit of paper off here, we're only taking some really tiny bits off to get that to fit on the Gina K cardstock. So these will then be, keep them around. You can use them in your scrap cards. And I did a demonstration with the Crafternoon box the other week, which used lots of scrap pieces. So that's available on our YouTube if you want to go and see how to use up all of the little scraps that we create in card making land. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix these two pieces down so that they're nice and solid on my base, and then we can start assembling some other little bits and bobs. So I've got tape runner. So this is just the easy runner that I'm trialing this one. I used to use, and I still use, the Bostik glue runners, but this one's kind of come across my desk. There's a lot more glue in the container, and it's not that much more expensive than these ones. So I'm swapping and changing. The Bostik ones are really simple and easy to get at Officeworks or Big W. So if you're ever in a pinch, they're normally pretty easy to grab. These ones we're going to start stocking in our store, so keep your eye on the store for those. This is the ultra permanent tape that I've got in here, and it is really strong. So no problems with your cardstock falling apart and your cards coming apart. It's going to hold really well. So I'm just starting with the black border, just popping a little bit of tape runner around the edges. Make sure that your card is the way that you want it to open. We've all done that where we've put a piece of card upside down, Miss Jane, and it doesn't end well for everybody. So just smooth that down, and then just do the same with my patterned paper. If I can get my tape runner to run. Oh. So what else have we all been up to? Anything exciting this week? I know some of you I saw on Saturday for the Crafternoon box tutorials, so we've only had a couple of days off between then. I'm sure you've all done some exciting stuff. I've had movement on the house build. So we're currently building a new house, and I'll get my own dedicated craft room in that house. And yeah, we've had a long 17 or 18 weeks of not really much happening, and we now have bricks and things on site. So things are going to start happening, which is fantastic. Okay, so now that I've got that done, I'm just going to pop this white piece in just so that I don't forget to do it. Because that's always a good trick of mine, to just, make a card, put it in my little stash of cards for when I need it, and then when I need it, I go to write on it, and I go, oh my God, it hasn't got a white bit in it. Now I have to hunt out my white gel pen, and that's always fun and games. There we go. So these are the gel pens that we've got available in our store. So there's a glaze pen, and there's these two which are Uniball pens. One's a hybrid, and it's got a really nice, it's got an ordinary kind of gel grip on it. And then this one, which is a Uniball, and it's a bit broader, a bit thicker, and it's got a really nice grip and a really thick line. I find this one and the glaze one quite good to use because we really get to see, you get a lot of white pigment come through, so that you can really see that on your page. So if you're looking for some good pens to be able to draw onto or write onto coloured cardstock, or particularly black or really dark colours, hit up the website, have a look at those. I think we're in the process of ordering some more at the moment. So if they're out of stock, send me an email and say, hurry up and put them in stock, Tangi, so that we can buy them. And I'll do that for you. Okay, so now that we've prepped the base, we want to make some little squares that we want to put behind our love hearts. So for this one, I think we're going to go this way. So I think what I might do is, again, 3 of each colour, and then 4 different colours. And I might do it in a bit of an ombre kind of stacked effect to go lighter to darker at the bottom. So let's have a look at lining them up in some kind of fashion that might work. Just to choose 4 out of the colours that we've got there. I'm just not sure about this dark red against this. I really don't know. I think I like something like that more. What do we think? Such a big decision, I know. Maybe if I put that one in there. I don't know. It's not really the ombre that I was going for. Maybe I do have to have that red in there today. Take that one out. Maybe something like that. I don't want to and ah about it too much, because by the time you put a contrasting colour on top, the plan that you had soon changes. So I won't stress too much about that. So I'll pop that aside. Grab your cutting device back out, and we're just going to cut these into 1 inch by 1 inch blocks. So I start by just cutting off a strip, and actually I'll cut this off the short edge because we don't need, I only need 4 inches by 1 inch in total. So I'll just snip these into 4 little squares. 2, 3, 4. Probably got an extra one there, but I won't need that for this project today. Oh, and I've just cut that on the long side. Whoops, never mind. Choppy chop away. Not looking forward to 34 degrees in Victoria tomorrow. It's not going to be fun. My craft room gets extremely hot, so I'm not excited about that at all. The new house will have air conditioning though, so that'll be great. I won't be sweaty Betty when I do some of my lives. Be nice. Nice for you guys as well. Okay, last 4. There we go. I think I can safely put this away now. Going to be a little cooler where you are tomorrow, Tony. Half your luck. So I'm just going to separate these out just so I can see where they are. And I've separated out all my colours in my hearts just so that I can kind of lay those out as well. Oh, what am I doing? I only needed 3 across and 4 down. Whoops, there's my maths not going to plan. I've got spares. Why didn't one of you tell me that my maths was wrong? Excellent. So this is working out nicely. Now you don't have to use this many squares. You can alter it to suit yourself as to, you know, you might want all of the squares the same color. You might want to just do one line. Totally up to you. This is just a bit of a format. And again, you know, you could make this card later on, not do love hearts on top. You could do stars or, you know, something like that. So up to you. I like to just lay this out first of all because I can kind of try and get my spacing fairly even around the card. So just with a slightly bigger border around the outside edges and some slightly narrower ones between each of the rows. And then I'm going to start from the middle and work my way out just so I can, hopefully line everything up fairly central. Now, if you're the kind of person who likes to wiggle things around and you might not get it in exactly the right spot first time, Feel free to use some liquid glue to pop your bits and pieces in place. Just because it's a little bit quicker, I'm just going to use some tape runner to stick these little guys down. It does sometimes come back to bite me because my glue runner runs off and won't track where it needs to. But we'll see how well we can get it to play. Okay, let's get going. So Tony, 25, but it'll probably get to 28 or 29. I think we've got 25 coming in Melbourne on the day after tomorrow. What day is it today? Wednesday. So Friday, I think it's coming back down to 25. So I'll be happy when that happens. I live in Melbourne for a reason. I don't like it to be hot. So, yeah, not so good. 40 for you tomorrow, Sharon. You can have that all to yourself. Who else have we got? Oh, Karen. Hi, Karen. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Popped in for a little bit of Wednesday night action. Ugh. All right, so I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do my right-hand side first, just so I can try and get these little squares to line up for me. Oops, missed. Yeah. So we've just closed the orders for the March Craft and Box and Card of the Month kits. So we've got 30 people joining next month, or 30 people in the teams next month. So that's really good. We're growing every month. We're getting bigger. So it's a nice little community. I just need to get people to not be so shy and post photos of their finished pieces when they're done to the Facebook group, because we like to see what kind of alterations you had, because everyone has their own little spin on things. So please, when you're finished making your cards after the tutorial, share them to the Facebook page and yeah, show everybody, make everybody jealous with the cards that you've made. Again, you don't need to be doing these for a Valentine's or any of that kind of thing. It's more of a pink theme for this month. Next month in March, we go back to a little bit more multicolours. So we're going into pastels and rainbows next month, so that will be amazing fun. But a little bit of a single colour, or not single colour, but a little bit of a restricted colour palette this month with the pink ones. How are you going with sticking down your little squares? Or are you eating dinner while you're watching tonight? I know people were doing that the other night, which is totally fine. Come back later and watch the YouTube replay, and you've already seen it, so you can just pause and fast forward and rewind if you didn't catch something, go from there. Cool, so that is all of my squares. I've got this rogue one that I'll throw over there. So now I just want to try and find some quite contrasting coloured hearts that will go onto here. So this is a fairly easy choice for me because the darkest red gets the lightest option, and then the vice versa with the top ones. So do a bit of, put the darker red ones up on here. Now it's the middle ones that get me a little bit caught up. This one or this one? No, this one stands out better. And then on this one, I think we're heading for something like this guy. That's quite a good contrast. Excellent. Alrighty, so for most of these, I'm going to pop them up onto some foam tape so that everything's kind of, a little bit more dimensional. So I've got these little circles. We've also got these in our store. I don't know where the packet outside for that has gone, but there are foam squares, foam circles rather, available in the in the store. And I need to choose a sentiment before I do this, because I need to maybe pop. I'm not going to pop the row that I put this over. I'm not going to pop that up. So I think this one I will make a little happy birthday card, because you can never have too many happy birthday cards. We always need one of those. And then it shows you that this month I'm not just doing Valentine's Day stuff. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, so it's really bizarre to me to be making Valentine's cards. But for those that do, good on you. There we go. Get out of there. Okay. Do I do the bottom? Do I do the third one? Do I do the second one? I think I'm going to go third one. It's a fairly solid choice for me. So I'll just pop a little foam dot just on the back of each heart. Stick it on. As I said, you know, it can be hearts, it can be stars, it could be some other shape if you've got a punch that, you know, cuts out shapes or other dies that you'd like to use. Completely up to you, but this is just a pretty quick layout to do. 1 inch squares and just contrasting colours. Okay. Hi Deborah, how are you? Popped in today. Sharon, feeling the heat some days, getting old. I'm not saying anything. Not saying anything. Okay. Cruising along. Nice, quick, easy card to put together while you're watching TV or watching another tutorial about something else. I'm just picking off some of the burrs that are on the outside. Sometimes when they get pulled out of the Cricut machine, they haven't cut through totally cleanly. So just give them a bit of extra love. And you've got plenty of hearts in this this kit as well, so you should be able to make some extras if you so wish, or you can save them to put on other projects down the track. Totally up to you. If you got the January kit, then you might also have some green and some blue and some craft coloured hearts and stars, so you know, maybe you're making a variation of this card. I'd love to see it when you're finished. Oh, you've just finished work, Deborah. I hope it wasn't a bad day. I hope it was nice. And now you can put your feet up and relax. Ooh. Okay, so I've just fetched one of these hearts that I've just dropped on the floor. And just popping a little bit of glue runner on the back. So this row I'm just keeping quite low and flat so that I can put my sentiment over the top and not build up too much thickness and dimension in the card, because I don't want it to not fit in the envelope. And it's also nice to have a little bit of just a change in dimension, just because if all 12 of the hearts are popped up, it kind of is a little bit predictable. So yeah. Is that me time for you, Deborah, or is it wine time for you, Deborah? That's what I want to know. Okay, so for this I am going to use some liquid glue. I've got a little bit that I've decanted into this tiny little applicator. It just gives me a really nice thin nozzle. So I can just apply some to the back of here. And I'm doing this because my tape runner is quite thick. So it would actually hang off the side of this little strip, and I wouldn't I would end up with glue runner everywhere. So just a little bit of liquid glue on the back of there. Find it a bit of a central place. Also with the glue, I've got a little bit of wiggle room. So if I want to nudge it over a millimetre or two, oops, that was too far, then I can. So that's where I'm going to leave this one for the moment. I could, of course, put some rhinestones onto that card, but I think it's kind of fairly busy as it is. So with the patterned paper at the back, you know, you've got a little bit of texture coming through already. Then with all the extra layers of all the cards, the cardstock, it's quite busy. Now that's not to say that you couldn't make this with a white background and then pop the colours on top, and that would give it a nice clean look as well. But this is where we've gone today. So I'm super happy with both of those, and really look forward to seeing your ones on our Facebook page. So please jump on when you've finished, take a photo. It doesn't have to be anything amazing. Just chuck it on your kitchen bench or your workbench where you've been creating it. And yeah, take a quick snap and pop it up for us. That would be great. So I'm just going to pop these little hearts away and get ready for the second card. So this next card is a little bit more complicated in the preparation that we're going to do. Okay, so this is the quilting technique. So there's a bit of measuring involved. So you're going to need a ruler and a pencil, a bone folder, and either a scoreboard, or I'm going to use tonight just this self-sealing mat, so a craft mat, just that it's got a little bit of push into it so that I can score into the cardstock. So if you've got those at your disposal, get those ready. I've got the long slimline card that is in your card of the month kit. Get my bone folder out. Alrighty. Just burnish that down so it's nice and flat. Okay, and so for this one I've chosen, so you would have gotten two different pieces of card that are cut to the right size for the mat to go behind your glitter cardstock. So they're both cut to size just to leave a small tiny plain border around the outside edge. So there's this colour here which is a bit of a dusty pink, and this one that's a little bit more of a bubblegummy pink. And you might, depending on which way you want to go, you might use your pink glitter on this cardstock or vice versa. And then I've also got the white glitter card in there. So you would have gotten one of each piece in your kit. Okay, so the fun part comes, I'm going to pop these aside just for the moment. So grab your glitter cardstock, and what we're going to do is turn it over. I'll just work on it this way for the moment so it'll all fit. Now with your ruler and a pencil, I didn't write these measurements down before, so now I'm kicking myself. But we're going to measure a number of lines across the top. So we actually want to end up with 7 places for us to score to. So 7 on the top, 7 on the bottom, and then there are 3 points on the side. So the way I do that is just to find the midpoint. So we've got 197 millimeters there. Of course, my calculator's in my phone, which is filming up above at the moment. So let's figure this out. So half of 197. Who's quick with maths? Somebody in YouTube, quick. Oh dear, where's my long maths? 9. Nobody wants to help. 9.5. And then we've got 7, so 90, let's go 99. I think that's about as close as we're going to get. Yeah, 99, 98. Let's measure 99 and mark that on both there. Then we're going to pop a halfway point between that one and the edge on each side. So half of 99, what have we got? 45. Is it 40? Oh gosh. I should not. 98.5. Oh, there you go. I was close with 99, guys. It's 98.5 if you can do it. And then what's half of 98.5? Getting you guys to do the work. This is good. So 49.25, is that where I'm getting to? Somewhere around this point here. All right, so we'll measure 49.25 or thereabouts. No one's probably going to ever come back and go, you know what, this one's a tiny little bit off. And if they do, whack them with the card or the envelope. Do we know what we're asking next? Half of 49 point, what have we got? 49.25. So we'd be somewhere around the 24.5 and a bit. 24 and a half. Let's go 24 and a half. Make it 25 just for funs, because who's got 24 and a half millimeters on a ruler? I should have come more prepared. Do you know what happened? I wrote them on the back of this piece of card that's on that's stuck to this envelope. You know, me and maths. I've done a full day of work already as well, so you know my brain's a little bit mush. It's time for crafting. It's time for fun. Alrighty, so we're measuring sort of around the 25 mark along there. All right, let's do the short ends so that we've got something there. Now this is measuring in at 92, so that's what, 46? That sounds about right. And then 23. See, it's fine if it makes a number that doesn't involve a half. Ah, Sharon, your time will come. Laughing at me. That's all right. They've shut the border to us now, so you've got no threat of me coming over the border to South Australia to, you know, kind of pay you back. Yeah, Karen, numbers do my head in. And if it's not inches and it's not like half an inch and things like that, it's, yeah, it doesn't help. So what we're going to do from here is you're going to take the first point on the short side and the first point on the long side. We're going to pop our ruler against that. And then get your scoring tool. Give it a bit of a going over. You're probably going to need, because you won't see much coming through on the other side, but you're going to need to give it 3 or 4 goes. Okay, so score that one. Then we move up and across and we go to the next one up, next one across, and score on that one. Not laughing at you, laughing with you. Sharon, I don't believe you. I think I'm being laughed at, which is totally fine. That's what I'm here for. So once you've done the second one, move along. So we're now doing the third one up the side, third one along the base, and you can kind of see where this is going. The fun part is when you get to the fourth one. So with this one, you're actually going to work with the top point in that top corner, and then the fourth line in on the bottom long side. And then just keep moving along the card in exactly the same way. Yeah, Karen, I do inches with all of my cards now, and I did start during doing some of our tutorials and doing a lot of millimeters as well as, but I think I think that part of me has died, and I think it's just going to be inches from now on. People might just have to find a ruler that has inches on it. They're not that hard. There's still a lot of places that use inches, even in Australia, so it's all good. So we just keep going, just like Dory in Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And when you get to this point again, just remember that you need to count the bottom corner as one of the points to score to. And up we go. Next one. Getting a bit of a workout with the scoring. I know you probably can't see my lines on the camera because white on camera is really hard. Tony, you can't do inches, they do your head in. I never did inches, so I went through secondary school in the 90s, and it's definitely all millimeters and centimeters. But since I started crafting, I've figured out how to make inches and things work for me. So yeah, maybe we'll keep trying with you, Tony. We'll get you there. So you should be able to see I've managed to get this on an angle where you can see on camera just all of those score lines going across. So now you just need to turn whichever works best for you. So sometimes it is you just need to turn your project. Others you might need to move yourself and get around. So see how you go. But what we want to do now is score on the opposite to make those crisscrossed lines. So it's still the same process. So the first two lines, the first line on the short end, first line on the long side, match up. And just keep going. Don't forget to use the bottom corner and the top corner as some of your lines to rule to. Who's written that? Print out of an inch ruler so I know where my 1/4. Ah, that's a clever idea, Karen. Hey, Tony, did you see Karen's idea? To do a printout of a ruler so that you know which marks are what. That's really cool. Maybe we need to send out some, how you go to IKEA and you can get those little paper tape measures. I don't know how helpful they are because, the measurements are on the boxes of the things that you're buying, so you know how big they are. The things that you needed to measure were the things at home that, like your wall, that you need to fit a cabinet on. So having a paper tape measure at IKEA, I don't think really does much good for you. But anyway, maybe I could go and pinch a bunch of those and post them out to everybody so that we can all have some guides on inches. Do you know what? They've probably got them all. They're probably all just in millimeters and centimeters, so it probably wouldn't help us at all. Imagine that, going into IKEA. Hi, can I just have 50 of your paper tape measures, please? Don't look at me like my head's on backwards. Ooh, this gets tricky when I can't see where I've done and where I haven't, but I'll get there. It's mainly because everything keeps moving on me. This one, and put my head in the way. Yeah, there we go. Yes, indeed. Getting a workout. All right, so I'm just going for this top corner as one of my measuring points. lucky last one, for me at least. I don't know how you're all going. I hope it's working for you. So then you should be able to see, if I can get it to go the right angle. So you should be able to see now we've got crisscrosses all the way along. Okay. And all we do from here is just fold each one of those lines in both directions. Now, depending on the cardstock, you might want to burnish as you're going along, just to get a crisp little look. But just be gentle with the glitter cardstock, that you don't rub too much of the glitter off by doing that. So it needs a little burnish, but not like 20 scrapes at maximum pressure. Just a little run across is all you need just to get that. Whoopsies. Gosh, that mustn't have been a very good score. Yeah, so just to get the lines to kind of come up a little bit more for you. I do think if we weren't using glitter cardstock and it was easy enough to rub the lines off and do it on the front, literally just doing the score lines from the front would be plenty. But because it's glitter cardstock and it's really hard to kind of mark and then score, I've done this kind of folded version to give the quilted effect. So once I kind of get a fair way along that strip, I've just turned it over so that I can get to, it starts to curl up quite a bit on you until you do the other way. So I just flip it to the other end and do just those little pieces that weren't gotten. So, you know, you can have a look at how that looks. That's just one side done one way. That's also a really nice look. You might even want to stop there and just leave that as your background pattern. But I'm going to go ahead and keep doing the quilted look so that you can all see how this comes up with the pink glitter cardstock. What have you said there, Sharon? I stuck one of the IKEA tapes on an old paper trimmer years ago. Yeah, they came in handy for lots of little things that you wanted to, you know, measure. So they're handy for something, but they're just not handy in the store, I don't think. It's all about the meatballs at IKEA. Got to go to the food court and get the meatballs. And forget where your car was parked. Because if you've parked in IKEA and you remember exactly what level and exactly where you were parked, you've done it wrong. Okay, so I finished scoring in both directions and folding over. So you can now see it's got like that quilted, you know, raised, bubbled lines through it. So now we can start assembling our cards. Now for this card, I had wrapped earlier my pink ribbon, and I've wrapped this and tucked it in around these two parts of card. So I'm going to do the same again this time. Yours worked, Tony. Well done. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of my cutting mat because I don't need that under my work surface anymore, and I tend to run off it and it's quite thick. So just flip over your quilted piece and give it a fairly good amount of tape. So with this one, if you're using tape runner, you will need to run a couple of extra runs all the way down the length of it. So that will help flatten everything out because there'll be more points of the card touching the surface. So just another sort of two big full strips down there so that you've got, you know, a fair amount. Only because there's so many bends in the card now, it really wants to just curl. So it will keep doing that unless we stop it. Now, I've taken these dimensions of the borders from the wonderful Gina Kay. who really likes to have a very thin border around her cards. And sometimes that can be quite tricky to get fairly straight. So good luck. As you've seen me do in the past, I try and kind of line up my corners, eyeball that, and then maybe work from one side and smooth it across once you're kind of sure. But you will, over time, develop a technique of how that's going to work for you. Now I've got my piece of ribbon, and actually this piece has been crumpled a little bit, so I'm just going to try and flatten it out. I don't have an iron handy, so I'm just going to actually, here's a flatter piece that I prepared earlier. I thought I had. Okay, so depending on where on your card you're going to put it, what you're going to do is hold it in place roughly where it's going to go. Flip everything over, keep it all sort of in place, and then just run a little bit of tape runner. Oops. Just on either end. This is all going to get stuck down anyway, so if you've got a little bit of extra tape in somewhere where you didn't really need it, it's not a problem. And just fold the ribbon over and onto the tape, and then when you grab the other end, just give it a little, not a tough pull. You don't want to pull anything apart. Just started pulling the ribbon apart, so I'm just gonna, come here, trim that off. Yeah, as I was saying, just give it a little tug and then bring that around and fold it in over onto the tape as well. So that will keep your ribbon in place. You don't need to worry about putting glue under everything under here. You certainly can if you want to, but I find the kind of glue that you're going to need to put all the way along will end up, if you put liquid glue under this ribbon, it's going to end up bubbling and you're going to see where the glue was. I like to just have it where I can't see any glue or tape at all. I could put tape runner under there, but it's really not necessary. I can just attach it on the ends. So now that I've got my ribbon on, I'll just put some more tape right around this border card. Lovely quilted card, a little bit down the middle just for extra support. Okay, and then again, just trying to line everything up here so that we can see roughly that we've got it even pretty much all the way around, and pop that down. Looking good. Excellent. So the next thing I'm going to do, so on this card I did put a piece of border colour around my sentiment, which I've put over here. Now, because this one's already got a black border around it, I don't think I need it on this one. But if you wanted to, I would just cut a piece of card. So if you're doing this one again, perhaps, that is, you know, at least 3 millimeters wider on each side than your card. And with this one, I just, because the greeting block had scalloped edges, I just used a corner punch. So this one, we have lots of these in the store as well. So these will do your rounded corners and also your inverted corners. So if you, let me just grab a piece of cardstock, pop it in there on the corner. So like that kind of inverted, or if you wanted to do a rounded edge. So it does both ways. So those you can get in our store as well if you don't already have one. Rounding corners can be one of my favorite things to do. So if you start seeing this kind of look on a lot of things, that's just because I like a nice, I do like a sharp line as well, but I also do like a, you know, a little bit of a rounded corner. I feel like these start to look like, they almost look like little clutch bags with the pattern in the back. So I'm just going to pop some, actually what I might do on that is pop some of these little foamies on. They may not stay particularly well on the glitter card, so I'll have to see how that goes. Otherwise I might need to get some stronger tape onto it. And also I'm only going to attach this one, or put tape or whatever on it, at the top and the bottom, because it's going to sit over the ribbon, and that's got a little bit of depth to it. So if I was to kind of glue everything down quite flat, when you go to push this down, the chances of you sometimes ending up with a bit of a ripple underneath, or a line where it might get flattened in, particularly if you're sending it in the mail, there's not really anywhere for that paper to go. So I'll take those little backings off, hopefully try and find the middle. I do have a middle point where board, so I can use that to kind of line things up. Give those little foam bits a little press down, and we're done. So on my previous example, I did get some of the little rhinestones out, and I just put those on the corners. Initially, I was going to go crazy and do them on every single corner, but I thought that was a little bit much. I don't know. I still think it could handle it, so I might go back and redo that one, but we'll see how we go. So they are the finished 2 quilted cards, so using that quilting technique, and these were the sort of 1-inch squares with floating hearts on top. So they're the cards that I've come up with for your Card of the Month kit. By all means, you can go crazy and design and create whatever you like using the ingredients in the kit, but this is just a bit of inspiration for you. Will also work in different colors and in different patterns. You can make them more plain, you can make them more fussy and complicated, totally up to you, but just a few layouts and a couple of techniques for you. So I hope you've had a good time following along. If you did like the video tonight, hit the like button. If you want to see more of our videos, please hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified when we go live. If you haven't become a member of either the Card of the Month kit or the Crafternoon box before, they are available on our website, papercraftingaustralia.com. So there's more information about each of those 2 kits. One is bigger than the other, just has more contents in it. You can, of course, purchase both kits for each month, because they do have different bits and pieces and different projects in it. So have a look if you haven't already become a subscriber. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of your February. I look forward to Card of the Month people seeing you guys in March, when we're going to be focusing on some rainbow colours and pastels. So in the meantime, have a great time, and I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.